Hey everybody, what's up? It's Brian for Day Trading Demystified, doing a short video on DDD 3D Systems. Now this is a stock that I've talked about quite a bit, and I am currently in the process of trading and planning to trade for a little while. Now I'm doing this video because I've gotten some emails from some people who are confused as to why I would buy a stock that is basically collapsing. So let's look at a couple charts of DDD. I'll try not to be too long-winded. Here we've got DDD on a 6-month, 1-day chart. And of course, here we've got DDD on a 5-year, 1-week chart. Now the stock is clearly in a downtrend, a very steep downtrend depending on how you look at it. Well, a couple people were asking me, how do you find a downtrend? Well, we've got DDD here at 97.28. It came down here, then it opened gapped way down. Now when it came back up directly into the downtrend. So when we've got 2 points, you draw 2 dots, 2 stars, 2 happy faces, 2 4-leaf clovers, whatever works for you. You've got 2 points, you can ascertain and determine where your downward trend is. So here we've got DDD clearly in a downtrend. Now if we look between the second star and where it is now, we've got an even steeper downtrend. So yes, the stock's in a downtrend. Is this a good time to buy? Well, that depends on who you are, how long you've been trading, and how comfortable you are with your skills and your belief in the company you are investing in. Now this is not a day trade. Like I said here at Day Trading Demystified, we also do swing trading, and we do a lot of stalking of stocks too, kind of like a spider in a web, waiting for that time to bounce. Okay, so DDD. I thought DDD was going to bounce off of its upper trend line at $50. Now it clearly did not do that. So let's look for some longer term support. Well, we can guess and speculate that it should have been at 50 because it had all these days here where it finally broke out of. We can say it's 30 because of this massive cup and handle that it finally broke out of. But the 200 period moving average, which is this red line, no, this is not a line I randomly drew on here. This is the 200 period moving average for the stock. Now, if you don't know what those are, we have a video series on the Day Trading Demystified website. And for simple examples, you can just Google it. Now, I am expecting long-term DDD to be worth a lot more than $40. Like I said, this is the 200 period moving average. You see it right here. I'm expecting that it should bounce off of that. So right now I'm still watching it in its downtrend, trying to get some clues as to when the best time would be to start buying it. Now, if anybody has seen the old Michael Douglas movie, Wall Street, there's a scene near the end where this trader who's worth a lot of money tells somebody, buy the stock lightly on the way down. And then when it hits 20, buy it all. I'm not talking about DDD when I say when it buys 20. I don't really expect that stock to go that low. But this was a good example of scaling in, and we're gonna explain that in just a second. So I want to show you an example of Apple, and I'm using this as an example as to why I am currently in the process of lightly scaling in to 3D systems. Months and months ago, on the Day Trading Demystified website, I called for Apple to bounce off of the 200 period moving average, which for Apple is this line here. Again, no, this is not some line I randomly drew on here. Anybody who trades can add a 200 period moving average to a stock. Now I called for Apple to bounce off of it. Now you can see here that it did. It bounced and then it retested. Now we're going to get into all of that in just a quick second here. So what are we looking at? What's all the information we need before we can determine when, where, how, and all that stuff to buy the stock? Okay, so for Apple, first thing, blow it up a bit. Clearly in a downtrend. We got the 200 MA supporting it. We've got a pretty nasty downtrend against it. So who's going to win the battle? Well, let's have a look. So we've got the downtrend right into the 200 per moving average. Now that is, this entire area here is what I'd like everybody to look at right now. Okay, 200 period moving average, steep downtrend. Now I'm going to blow this up to show you one of the clues. When it retested, we have a green engulfing red, or a bullish engulfing candle right there. Now that's when it retested. Now yeah, some people could say, well, just buy it on this day, and you absolutely could. Again, some of the things that I do are not for beginners. I am not suggesting or recommending that anybody do what I do. Okay, so we've got our double test of the 200 MA. Looks like it's coming out of the steep downtrend, all in this area here. We also had the stock in a downward channel, and it broke out of that channel here. Now, was this the time to buy? Well, again, it depends on how long you've been trading, how much you're willing to risk, how confident you are in your skill set, all of those things. Now, another good sign here that I want to show you quickly, and again, these are just all clues. Okay, so the message is repetitive, but it's repetitive on purpose. Downward trend. Bounce off of the 200 period moving average. Retests here. Retest has a bullish engulfing candle, a very good sign. When it came up here, you can't see because of the upper line for the downward channel, the 20 period moving average got underneath the stock here. Now when it popped out of it, it retested that as well. Then you've got a mini pennant and a breakout. Now these are all good signs that the stock was going to bounce. Some people would even call this a cup, where it bounced off of the 200 MA and then busted out of it. Now it could head back down now. Again, this is not a stock that I was telling anybody to hold for a matter of months. This is just my example so you can kind of see back on the 3D printing chart how I would play it. So how about buying in to 3DD? Well, I thought it was going to bounce off the 50. I didn't guarantee it, and I was a little bit leery because of how badly things have been going in the market lately. So you scale in at the $50 area. No, not everybody. This is for experienced traders. This is just so people know what I'm doing. So you scale in lightly, say 300 shares at around the $50 area. Now if it falls to 40, you pick up 600 shares. This drops your dollar cost average, also known as averaging down. Again, if you don't know what that is, just Google it. Now, stocks find support and resistance at round numbers, so 50, 30, and all that. These are not set rules, these are just guidelines. And all of these guidelines are subject to the whims of the market and the market makers. So 300 at 50, 600 at 40. Now, if it falls to the 200 MA, 28.23, probably be around $30 by the time they meet. If they do, you pick up 1,200 shares. Now this drops your dollar cost average way down to here. Now you're doing this with the anticipation that it is then going to bounce and the downtrend is going to end. Now one of the reasons that I'm so hot on this stock myself and I'm doing this scaling in thing as it drops is because I see this stock as something that somebody like Warren Buffett might be interested in. This is not a stock that is going to just not be around in a couple of years. The applications of three-dimensional printing, in my opinion anyway, are mind-boggling. Outside of machinery and rocket engines that actually work and car parts and human faces and medical instruments, they are now three-dimensionally printing or planning to human hearts, human ears, and I just find the applications for these companies fantastic. So that's how I would scale in. That's how I would trade DDD. Those are the clues I would look for and am watching for now. Again, right now, DDD still in a downtrend. Not something I would recommend a novice trader touch unless you're comfortable with looking at large losses in the immediate future. And I just want to show you the example of Apple one more time. Quickly, the repetitive message. Steep downtrend, 200 period moving average, retest, bounce, bullish engulfing, pops out of it, 20 period moving average gets underneath it here, retests, mini pennant pops out, But for me, yes, a couple of people that emailed me, I would start buying on the bullish engulfing even sooner, simply because of the applications of a company like 3-dimensional printing. That's it. I hope it helped for everybody that emailed me concerning 3DD, how and why I would trade it, when and where I would buy it. For Day Trading Demystified, this is Brian reminding you, master yourself and then master the markets. We'll see you next time.